At the Boy Scouts of America, our oath remains. A Scout pledges to be kind, helpful, and brave. We're committed to providing a safe and welcoming environment where Scouts can establish the foundations of character that will last a lifetime. Our approach ensures the Boy Scouts of America is building the youth of today into the leaders we'll turn to tomorrow. The Boy Scouts of America. Building character is in our nature. Visit scouting.org to learn more about Scouting.
Hello, my name is Heilh, and I'm the president of the Nevada Area Council of the Boy Scouts of America. It's my honor to welcome you to our special 2020 Eagle Scout and Good Scout Salute telecast on KOLO. Personally, I'd like to thank the management of KOLO for making this show possible and salute KOLO for its diverse and generous community support through its KOLO Cares outreach. Each year, our council celebrates the youth in our communities that have earned the highest rank in scouting, the Eagle Scout Award. I'm most pleased to report that we are honoring over 240 new local Eagle Scouts today. In addition, each year we salute our community's Good Scouts, those citizens that are role models for us all and live up to many of the values, principles, and actions associated with scouting. Our 2020 Good Scouts are those dedicated, courageous, and everyday heroes that are on the front lines all around us. There are far too many to honor independently, but we have a number of outstanding representatives from the front lines that we'll recognize and hear from during our show. We're also proud to announce that 3 adult Eagle Scouts from our region have been awarded the Outstanding Eagle Scout Award. We'll meet and hear from them as well. We want to take this opportunity to share a little with what our extraordinary BSA team of volunteers and professionals does each year in Northern Nevada and Eastern California. To report those activities, I'd like to ask Paul Pentola, CEO of the Nevada Area Council, to join me and talk about the Council's many accomplishments. Paul.
Thank you, Heilh. Hello to all our friends and Scouts out there. Each year, the National Boy Scouts of America rates each of the 253 councils on a number of key performance criteria. Heilh and I are proud to let you know that last year the Nevada Area Council ranked right at the top with the gold rating. We served over 5,500 youth and recorded over 57,000 hours of community service. We hosted our 35th annual golf tournament at Montreux thanks to our title sponsor, Raley's. Received the Red Cross's Community Service Award for Lifetime Achievement, and conducted extensive training at our Scouting University sessions in both Reno and Elko. The Nevada Area Council also reached at-risk youth with its 21 Scout Reach units. We hosted day camps and adventure camps for over 1,200 Cub Scouts, and served more than 800 local Scouts at our High Sierra resident camp near Lake Almanor and Lassen Park, Camp Fleischman. Obviously, we've been challenged, like all youth leadership programs, by COVID. However, we have found new ways to conduct our meetings, hosted a nationwide virtual jamboree, and are developing extensive protocols to ensure the safety of our volunteers and Scouts going forward. I'm pleased to now introduce our co-host for our show. Janine Reddix has been a very active volunteer for the past 10 years, is a member of our council board of directors, and is the campaign manager for our annual popcorn fundraiser. Her favorite flavor is blazing hot. Wow, that's hot. Jim Rogers is a distinguished Eagle Scout, is one of 10 Eagles in 2 generations of the Rogers family, has 3 Eagle Scout sons, and currently is a member of the National Executive Board for the BSA.
Thank you, Paul, for that A+ report on the Nevada Area Council.
Many of you may not be aware, but the Boy Scouts of America now serve both boys and girls. In fact, in 2021, we'll have our first nationwide class of female Eagle Scouts. Wow.
As our President Heilh reported earlier, we are here to celebrate and recognize our 240 new Eagle Scouts. Scouts that reach the Eagle rank are exceptional. In fact, less than 5% of all active Scouts achieve Eagle. In addition to the 21 merit badges required The Eagle candidate must demonstrate leadership skills, accountability, outdoor confidence, and be a role model for younger scouts. In addition, every Eagle candidate must complete an Eagle Community Service Project. These projects are completed at the end of their Trail to Eagle, and they're most comprehensive and require the application of many of the skills the Eagle candidate has learned during their years as a scout. To salute our new Eagles, we decided to profile 3 Eagle Scouts and their Eagle projects. Our first Eagle project was completed by Cyrus Moser in Lund, Nevada. He was given the task to paint a mural of the United States in the school courtyard. Names of our new Eagle Scouts will also appear at the bottom of your screen as our Eagle Project stories are presented. Enjoy the show.
In my scouting activities, I think the thing that I've enjoyed most is the fact that I get to be able to help people in the service and all that. It's going to help me the rest of my life because in all the merit badges we have, they're constantly teaching us good things like the first aid merit badge. It teaches you how to respond in emergencies.
Cyrus's Eagle project was to make a mural of the United States that he painted and put down just behind our cafeteria. It's out there for all the kids to be able to see and the teachers to be able to use. It's pretty cool.
My dad got his Eagle Scout and I felt pressed to do the same. I also did it to give back to my school. That's why I did my project, because I love my school a lot and I felt like I needed to give something back to it. We both get to be in the same eagle nest. I feel really proud and I think he's proud of me.
Hopefully as a community, they can see the leadership qualities that Cyrus has, that exhibits, and they're going to be able to see that, hey, this is somebody that we want to emulate.
I learned about others in my Eagle project that people are always willing to help, but a lot of the time you have to ask them to come. It's also useful if you have food. I learned about myself that I can do hard things. And all my friends know that I'm an Eagle Scout because a lot of us, we all got our Eagles right at the same time, so we all got to go to the same court of honor. It was really cool. We all got to come and go up there on the stage. We all received our awards. It was a really cool thing.
After the boys, they get their Eagle Scout, we bring them into our nest. And as I look around at our nest, what I see are community leaders. Those movers and shakers in the community that are making our community great. We have religious leaders, business owners, education, great parents.
Our next Eagle project was completed by Tanner Lack. Tanner is a member of Troop 88 in Reno.
I remember the first meeting I went to, I sat down and said, this is what I want to do. So 7 years later, here I am. I was doing a little bit of research in my ROTC class, actually, and I found an interesting statistic. 67% of people that die on school campuses die because they bleed to death. I thought that was the most horrendous and changeable thing. We found that the best way to respond to these situations was by giving the ability for the people at the scene to be the first responders.
Stop the Bleed was what the project was called, based on an initiative of President Obama. President Obama did not have the money to put down into the schools and kind of left it up for a grassroots project, if you will. And Tanner saw it and did it.
He realized the school was truly not prepared for a shelter-in-place situation. So he began to ask questions in an effort to try to put together what would have to happen for the school to be adequately prepared for a shooter in the community, a shelter-in-place, whatever cause or function that may have set that up. So he began to put together what he thought would be the rudiments of safety buckets for each classroom, and not just classrooms, but every single place in a school where students could be if all of a sudden they had to stay where they were.
They have the supplies that are essential to care for someone in need, specifically if a school were in lockdown and you had a student that was bleeding or had to provide some type of first aid, this is a project that will be ongoing forever. And there's no limitations of what we can put in it. The buckets are constantly inventoried. They're tagged, they're sealed. Inside, there's a number of items that are universal throughout each one.
The reaction to the project was phenomenal. Every time I brought it up with somebody, they just were always talking about how great it was and how great of an idea it was. Everybody at the school, every single school I went into was more than happy to help me out, take their time to spend with me, talk to me, and then willing to work with me at the end of the day, which was just a very humbling experience to see that somebody my age was respected in the community. A lot of my friends actually got tied into this project. I would always talk to them, and they got really excited with it, so I ended up getting them involved. They volunteered, helping put these kids together. I've always been a very hands-on, anything I'm doing, I'm doing myself kind of person. So when it came to this project, when it ended up getting super big, I had to trust that people were also doing what they were supposed to be doing.
He has made McQueen High School a much safer place and more conducive in case there was an emergency on campus, that people would be safe and secure, and it's a win-win for the high school.
As I gained that leadership experience through my project, I've noticed the amount of transfers over into real life leadership is kind of something I didn't expect, but they're definitely skills that I gained while I was doing Boy Scouts.
What people should take away when they meet an Eagle Scout is that they are not the rule, they're the exception. They have a different standard, they're held to a higher standard, and just because they make Eagle Scout, as I said at Tanner's Eagle Scout ceremony, that's where the hard work starts after the accepting Eagle Scout.
Young men and women who pursue the journey of Eagle Scout are the young men and women who will hold to the highest tenets of human behavior. They will hold in their hearts and in their daily behavior the belief of the 12 characteristics of the Scout Law.
Looking at the world and our communities today, I see problems that need solutions, and Eagle Scouts, I think, are uniquely built up to solve these problems.
Alvin Townley is renowned for the research he completed and the books that he has written on Eagle Scouts throughout the world. His 2 scouting books are entitled Legacy of Honor and The Spirit of Adventure. Alvin is going to share a few of his remarkable Eagle stories and the lessons he learned from meeting extraordinary Eagle Scouts.
Like some Eagle Scouts in the Nevada Area Council, I was a last-minute Eagle Scout and got my Eagle about a month before I turned 18. And I went home that night and really hung up my uniform. And for me, scouting was done. I got my Eagle, checked the box, and I went off and started living the rest of my life. But when I was in my mid-20s, I came back to scouting and began to ask some questions about what it meant to be an Eagle Scout when you don't go to scout meetings anymore, when you don't wear your uniform on a regular basis. And beyond that, what did scouting and its Eagle Scouts really meant to America? How would we as Eagle Scouts influence this country's history, and how are we going to shape its future? One of the encounters that sparked my quest to find out what scouting has meant to America and what being an Eagle Scout really means was an encounter I had randomly in my college town. And I had seen a gentleman who had an Eagle Scout pin on the lapel of his suit, and I went up to him, being an Eagle Scout, and said, sir, I see you were an Eagle Scout." He turned around and said, "No, son, I still am an Eagle Scout, and so are you." And I think that moment really struck me, and it stayed with me, and it really was the kernel, the spark that started my interest in trying to figure out what scouting's legacy has really meant. And it's what started my quest to understand what it means to be an Eagle Scout. Literally, I traveled around the world 3 times, around this country more times than I can count, and got to meet an extraordinary group of people. And all of them were living adventures as they defined adventure. Some of them were being clerks in the U.S. Supreme Court. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer is an Eagle Scout from California, so not too far away from Nevada. Eagle Scouts were in the Peace Corps. Eagle Scouts were naval aviators, Blue Angels. Eagle Scouts were teachers. Eagle Scouts were guarding the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. Eagle Scouts were winning Olympic medals in snow skiing. So everyone found what was their passion and pursued it. Eagle Scouts are entrepreneurs in the broadest sense of the word. When we go through scouting, we figure out how to get things done, and people will help us. But at the end of the day, it's up to us. We're the ones that have to make the phone call to a merit badge counselor. We're the ones that have to mobilize our friends and our family to come complete an Eagle Scout project. And so we learn how to be self-starters. And you see that again and again in Eagle Scouts throughout their lives. They can envision what they want to happen, and they have the skill, the ability, and the gumption, and the grit, and the guts to go make it happen. So one of the most extraordinary stories that I found when I was traveling around the world in the country writing my books on Eagle Scouts was a story about a guy named George Coker. He's an Eagle Scout, state wrestling champion in New Jersey, and a POW in North Vietnam for nearly 8 years. And he carried into that prison almost nothing except the values of scouting. And he was on a wall for 12 hours a day with his hands above his head, with his captors trying to make him sign a confession. But he would not sign that confession. So he stayed there on the wall day after day, week after week, month after month with his hands above his head. And he was losing his mind. Can you imagine standing with your hands above your head for days and hours on end? And towards the end of the ordeal, the only thing he could remember, the only thing he could hold on to was the first line of the Scout Oath. And he would stand there on that wall, defying his captors, not signing a statement saying that he was a war criminal, and say to himself, on my honor, I will do my best. I will not let them win. And after 3 months, George Coker won that battle, and he slept for 3 days straight after he got off the wall. But it was an extraordinary example of how scouting values stay with a person for their entire life and how they can get them through the darkest valleys they will ever experience. Scouting is one of those institutions in America that brings people from all different backgrounds together. And Scout troops don't work. Scout patrols don't work unless people can get along together and help one another. And it's up to each of us, that are Eagle Scouts, each of us that are involved in the program in different ways, being leaders or supportive parents, even siblings. It's up to us to make sure that that future is as bright as scouting's past, and that scouting makes the same kind of impacts in the years to come as it has in the years that have passed.
Our final Eagle Project report is one managed by Matthew Rieger. Matthew had a team to build a grief and suicide education presentation kit for local middle schools, high schools, and businesses.
For my Eagle Project, I made a suicide prevention presentation kit. And the reason I did it was because one of the younger kids in my troop committed suicide.
And while they were together in a grief circle with different counselors, Matthew was a Life Scout at that time, and he was just at the cusp of trying to find an Eagle Scout project. And during that discussion, he turned to the counselor, Emilio Parga, and he said, I want to do something to help the community, to help this situation so it doesn't happen anymore.
It's a tough subject. And I told him, are you sure? Because it's a lot of educating. It's a lot of inspiration. It's also a lot of telling people about the resource to help each other and not to be afraid to make a phone call or talk about ways to help someone who's experiencing suicide.
So what Matthew created is really something that's distributable, something that's tangible, something that students can hold on to so that they know that they matter. I myself am a survivor of suicide loss. I know that he also came to this project as a child who lost friends. And he was motivated to pursue this project because it was meaningful to him.
So the planning was originally just the cards we made, and then the encouragement cards were added by the person who donated all the printing. And then one of our sponsors got us in contact with Crisis Call Center, and they donated the bracelets and pencils and more cards with their contact information.
And he had to go figure all that out, which he did. And then he had to start like an organizational tree for all the components of this, because it was a package that could be delivered to the teacher so they can then deliver to every student within the Washoe County School District. There was a lot of moving parts to this project, and he brought them all together to do a successful delivery.
And anytime anybody does something with a loss, it's important. So I know that Matthew did something important with this project. Even if I just see one kid wearing that bracelet that he made, it's important.
Matthew does live up to the Scout oath and law every day. And when it came to this project, he picked the project that was close to his heart, and he ran with it and made it the best that he could, because he cares for people and life that much.
When I tell someone that I'm an Eagle Scout, I want them to know that I am responsible and that I have leadership skills. Because that's really what the whole purpose of the last few ranks, Star Life and Eagle, and especially the project, are about. It's not about teaching you physical skills anymore. It's like the earlier ranks. It's about teaching you leadership skills.
Congratulations and thank you again to Cyrus, Tanner, and Matthew, as well as their parents, families, and the many volunteers that helped them with their impressive Eagle projects. To our viewers, if you have a potential Eagle project you would like to be completed, contact us at nevadabsa.org. Let's hear from one outstanding young lady that has proclaimed she will be the first female Eagle Scout in the Nevada Area Council.
Hi guys, remember me from the 2018 Eagle Scout banquet? Well, it's now fast forward to 2020, 2 years later, and I've turned in my paperwork and we are here, we've made it, and I'm very excited to be a part of the next Eagle Scout class. So I built a floating fishing dock for the Mason Ortiz camp, which is a camp that allows the youth to kind of be more exposed to the outdoors. And so it kind of like tied back to scouting in a way. Scouting's like a lot of the outdoors and experiencing it through camping and stuff like that. And so I thought I would want to do something for that camp, and they needed a floating fishing dock. So I was like, done. It feels great knowing that like all the work I put into it kind of, came out maybe not exactly how I had planned it, but it ended up working out. So yeah, I'm very happy. I know people are still trying to get used to like the idea of letting girls participate, but I mean, we went to scout camp. We were, I think, one of the only like all-female troop there that week, but everyone seemed super excited that we were all there, so it was really nice.
Oh, hello there. My name is Jada. My name is Carlos. My name is Kathleen. My name is Dex, and I'm a Cub Scout. And I'm a Cub Scout. And I'm a Cub Scout. I'm here to talk to you today about becoming a Cub Scout like me. Who here knows what Cub Scouts do? Well, since this is a video, I'm just going to tell you what they do, and let's see if you're right. Cub Scouts get badges for doing fun activities. We make friends. Scouts go camping, climbing, fishing, and swimming together. We have fun, we play sports, and go to parades. Scouts also help people and become the best versions of themselves. Scouts become future leaders. In fact, some Scouts have even made history. Did you know that some of our former presidents, astronauts, award-winning scientists, and actors were Scouts when they were your age? Here's an example of something Cub Scouts get to do each year. Wait for it. We use our skills to make rockets, and then we fly them. So, Who wants to become a Cub Scout? Okay, this is still a video, so I'm gonna need you to let me know a different way. Visit bscout.org to find a pack near you. Get any questions answered and sign up for Cub Scouts online. Make sure you have an adult to help you with that part though.
Each year, the Nevada Area Council recognizes outstanding local citizens for the leadership, influence, and scouting-like values that they provide to our communities, states, and nation. We honor these special individuals with our Good Scout Award.
Our Good Scout honorees represent in their lives the values, character, and honesty that Scouting imparts to members, both adults and youth. In 2020, due to our extraordinary COVID circumstances and their significant impact on all of our lives, the Council's nominating committee thought it would be most appropriate to honor all of our frontline workers. They are all truly heroes. We salute them here today and encourage all of you to thank them personally when you interact with them in their hard work.
I'm Master Sergeant Frederick Edward Bartalomy III. I'm an operations NCO in the Nevada Army National Guard.
Second Lieutenant Brenna Keegan, and I'm a public health officer in the Air National Guard.
Me and my team have supported the community through warehouse efforts where we store, transport, and distribute different PPE, so personal protective equipment. We've also supported community-based testing, so where they do testing for COVID, and a variety of other areas to include food banks throughout the community.
I work as the medical planner, and COVID's really changing all the time. From March to now, it's a completely different environment. Allowing for those changes and still working with the community has been really difficult. And at the same time, the Guard's looked at as sort of the leader, right? We have to lead by example, and so allowing us to have that level of knowledge has always been somewhat of a challenge from the get-go. So I think that's the most difficult thing, is just rolling with the punches at the end of the day.
So when it comes to adaptability in the Guard, many of our Guardsmen are citizen soldiers. So they have a lot of experience other than the military training that they bring to the table. And that really assists when it comes to adaptability for the organization, especially in unfamiliar circumstances. So what I would say is for Scouts to kind of build that adaptability, really it comes down to challenging each other, but being there for each other, right?
So the key to being able to adapt, and something we learn in the military, I think, is really just outlook at the end of the day. You know, everything's gonna change, and so if you look at it from a negative perspective and just focus on the fact that it's changed, then that tends to not lead to a good outcome. I think teamwork's the most important because of the fact that you get so many different perspectives on a problem. You know, we can look at it from different angles and really come up with the best solution to a problem. So if you don't have those other outlooks, you may have one very particular narrow idea, and so you might not get to the right solution immediately. So having all those people come in with different experiences, different life choices and things like that really leads to a better solution at the end of the day.
So in order to lead a successful team, first you have to build resiliency within that team, right? You have to challenge your team members to do better. You also have to identify what their strengths are and maybe what their weaknesses are, and then utilize those strengths and weaknesses collaboratively. So you take those who are strong in an area, help others build, or help them build others in an area where they might not be as strong, and therefore the team as a whole becomes more successful.
I really think when you change your mindset and really focus on the problem and the solution is when you're actually gonna have the best outcome and also just the best mentality, right? If you're constantly looking at the past and things that you wish you could have changed, you might get a little bit bogged down. So just having that outlook of moving forward, embracing the suck, as we like to say in the military, and just getting things done is really the best advice I could give someone. For Scouts who want to continue providing service, there's so many ways to get involved, you know, whether it be the military, but it's also something like finding a cause that you're a big fan of.
There are a lot of programs out there that give back to the community, so just stepping into a role that will assist an already established organization that is set to assist the community is one way of doing it. You can also identify issues throughout the community and then try to bring in community leadership and other personnel and identify ways to overcome it, so you can actually create an effort that could assist the community by doing that, and really continuing to communicate the importance of that strong community culture is another important way to continue to enhance and support the community.
Responding to the coronavirus pandemic has been the ultimate exercise in being prepared. When this started, we had projections that were staggering. We had limited access to PPE, and if the numbers were correct, we were going to have to improvise ways to take care for that many people all at once. We prepared for the worst case scenario. As an example, the parking structure at Renown Regional Medical Center was converted to an alternate care site that would allow for 1,400 additional patients from our surrounding communities. Thankfully, we have not had to use that alternative care site. Our team is much more broad than you would think. Of course, we have our physicians, our nurses, and respiratory therapists. But the system only works because we have first responders bringing patients to the hospital, lab technicians running tests, pharmacists making sure that medications are being delivered appropriately, supply services making sure that we have enough PPE and medical equipment, the environmental services staff that keep the hospital a clean and sanitary place for us to take care of people. And then there's the administrators behind the scenes coordinating all of these efforts, not only at our hospital, but with other hospitals and the local and state agencies to make sure our community as a whole are able to get the care that they need if they get sick. It has been humbling. I saw firsthand people doing their very best day in and day out while exhausted and truly fighting for the well-being of others. I didn't always want to be a doctor. When I was young, I was a scout, and what really resonated with me was learning skills that would prepare me to deal with difficult situations. When I graduated high school, I wanted to become a paramedic. I was fascinated by the idea of knowing how to respond to any medical emergency. After many years as a paramedic, I wanted to learn what the doctors would do next after I took my patients to the emergency department. That was when I decided I wanted to be a doctor. Once on a backpacking trip, our leader, I think, intentionally got us lost. He taught us a very useful lesson that day. He said, when you don't know where you are or you don't know what to do next, just stop. And that's an acronym, and it stands for sit down, think, observe, and plan. This tool has served me very well as a paramedic, as an emergency physician, and in life in general.
I'm Cheney. I am the operations team leader at Raley's on Mira Loma. I've lived here in Reno my entire life.
Hi, my name is Justin Rice. I live out here in Reno, Nevada, and I work at the Raley's off of 701 Keystone Avenue.
Hi, my name is Kevin Wright. I am a district manager for Raley's here in Nevada. I actually live in Reno, and I've been with the Raley's organization for 39 years.
Every day has just been a new adventure. From the very beginning, the store was just slammed with tons of customers, and we've been incredibly busy. Our whole lives have been turned upside down at the store. So every routine that we had before, we have a new routine now on top of that.
Our frontline employees during the pandemic have been our Raley's heroes. Each day they are coming to work and putting themselves right in front of all of our customers to be able to provide food and products for our customers to come in and get.
So one of the things I learned during this whole crisis about myself and my team members is just how resilient we are. And not just our team members, but also our shoppers as well. It's just a sample size of the community that when we follow the rules and really keep this thing under wraps, it's really easier for everybody to do what they have to do and to ensure that everyone else's safety. So when we all play along with it, we all get our job done.
When you think of individuals that go above and beyond, Each of these individuals across our entire organization have put themselves out there to take care of our customers, and I'm really proud of each of them for what they are accomplishing.
I learned how brave they were to come to work. It took a lot to get to work and help hundreds of customers during this pandemic.
I think the thing that makes me most proud of with working for Raley's and our employees that are out on the front lines is that while we are focused on providing for our customers, we are keeping our employees' safety first and foremost.
Raley's is just a good company to work for. They did everything in their power from the very beginning to make sure that we were safe, to make sure each and every team member had the tools they needed to stay safe. I gotta hand it to them. They came out with an action plan immediately, and they kept us informed.
So while we were trying to provide food and the essentials to all of our customers, the employee safety, customer safety still outweighed every decision that was made.
I am responsible for communicating with not only my management team, but also fellow co-workers that are working the check stands and bagging orders. They are able to come to me whenever they have any issues, whenever they're stressed out, when something's not going their way. I encourage them to come to my office so that way we can kind of talk, throw it out there in the open. Anything that's bothering them, I show them that there is a way around it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
I think probably when we talk about decorated masks across the organization, we started out just barely being able to get masks to being at this stage of the pandemic, and you're starting to see employees' personalities coming out. So you have everything from individuals that have made them themselves, supporting their favorite football teams, color coordinating with their shirts and blouses. It's just fun to see the level of employee participation bringing out their personalities as they support their mask and keep that safety first.
Do my customers recognize me in a mask? Yes, most of them do. I've got one of those faces and postures and just my excitability. People know it's me coming down the aisle. So the question is, do I recognize most of my customers? And so that's different. So I've got our normal people that I recognize, but someone may come in from another store, an older customer, and they'll say, "Hey, Cheney," and I'll go, "Hey," and then they'll pull down their mask and they're like, "Oh, it's Linda. Oh, hey, Linda, sorry about that." So mostly everyone I recognize, and they recognize me with a mask.
So we've really been side by side with a lot of the members out here in Reno, working through it all, helping each other out. Raley's and the Boy Scouts also came together to help promote a golf tournament a few weeks back, and they helped recognize some of the front-end workers. Myself, fortunate enough, was allowed to go check out Montreux and to have some great times with some of the other fellow co-workers out there who have been in the same situation I was. And it was all thanks to the Boy Scouts out there. So that was something that I myself had really appreciated that you guys were able to do.
I was a scout for many years with Troop 1. I didn't make it to Eagle Scout. I'm so sad. I was a Life Scout, but I loved every minute of it. I love scouting. I'm still friends with a lot of the boys that were in my troop, lifelong friends. We went to high school together and we still keep in contact. So it was a good thing.
in, scout me in.
Scout me in. Scout me in.
To all the Scout moms and dads out there, thank you. I have been an adult Scout leader for the past 10 years. My titles during that decade are too many to mention. Den leader to council popcorn kernel says it all. Scouting only happens because parents and adult Scout volunteers make it work. Parents and adult Scout volunteers make personal investments in the Scouting movement with the time they provide to Scouting activities. As many of you know, often those activities involve fundraising and personal financial contributions as well. For many reasons, our communities are growing and our local economy is diversifying and expanding. In order to meet the community service requirements of these expansions, the Nevada Area Council must grow as well. We need more Scouting investors, whether that be with time or donations. Help out if you can, and reach out to your friends and neighbors to share the good news of Scouting that you have heard here today. Ask them to invest in Scouting too. If we want a better tomorrow, we need to invest in Scouting today. Please consider participating in the Council's online auction or making a direct donation to the Nevada Area Council. Information for both is shown on the screen. Thank you very much.
It is now my honor to introduce the Nevada Area Council's 2020 National Eagle Scout Association's Outstanding Eagle Scout Award recipients. This prestigious national award was created to recognize notable Eagle Scouts who have provided exceptional service to their communities, professions, avocations, and beliefs. They are indeed role models that have lived the BSA mission of making ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by applying the values of the Scout Oath and Law. Our first outstanding Eagle Scout Award recipient is Eagle Scout Dr. Joseph Hancock. Dr. Hancock is a lifelong Scouter that has received numerous BSA awards for his active leadership with the Order of the Arrow, Venturing, the South Plains Council in Lubbock, Texas, and the Nevada Area Council.
One of the things I think most about Joe in particular really relates to his family, because his family is actually, in my humble opinion, one of the premier Scout families in the United States.
Anybody who knows Dr. Hancock knows that family is the most important thing in his life. Anybody who sits down with him with dinner, the first thing he always wants to talk about is family, what his wife is doing, what his children are doing.
The award is phenomenal. I'm very privileged to be selected to receive this award. It means that hopefully I've done well with my family. My entire family is involved with Scouting, including my wife.
I met Joe in law school, so and when I met him, one of the first things he told me was that he was an Eagle Scout. It's just had an overall impact on his daily life, especially becoming an Eagle Scout. Scouting became a part of our life again when our children got involved as Tiger Cub Scouts. Joe was the camp chef most of the time. That was one of his favorite things to do is prepare the food for all the Cubs.
I remember a lot of the family Cub camps. That was kind of like my introduction to Scouting, and I always remember him making soup, and I would stay back with him and help cook for everybody, which was a pretty good time.
The first time I met Joe, I was cooking fried chicken on a camp out, which is a chore in itself. And Joe came up and we kind of, we started talking, and I said, man, Joe, I need some help. This is a lot of work. And he said, okay, well, let's get after it. Between the two of us, we spent the next 2 hours cooking fried chicken for 70 kids.
My dad is someone who's like always up for a challenge, and I think Scouting was another thing for him to to try and attempt and challenge it and see if he could prove himself.
I think the most important part was actually going through the ranks, learning that I had to adapt to new environments and new challenges. And I am a licensed attorney as well as a physician and a pilot. And I think I would not have reach the goals that I had set by not going through all the merit badges, knowing that I could learn at least 21 new fields.
He and I taught quite a few wilderness first aid courses together. So what I remember the most is definitely his dedication and his willingness to go out of his way to help, anyone.
What I really love about him is his encouragement of all young people involved in the scouting program. But I think just his dedication to the youth of America is what I've seen from Joe.
He's one of those guys that talks to kids like an adult. He treats kids like they want to be treated and like he wants to be treated, and he expects a lot from them, and therefore he does a lot for them. And so he's the perfect scout leader as far as I'm concerned.
What he once mentioned to me is that if you have knowledge and you're not willing to share it with others, then you don't have knowledge at all.
One of the things that I think is really important if you're going to be involved as a volunteer in this movement is an attitude of servant leadership. Joe Hancock, you certainly represent the very best of servant leadership, and you've made a big difference in our movement.
Your passion to make others better and to enrich the lives of those around you is what makes you not just an Eagle Scout, but a nationally recognized outstanding Eagle Scout. As an Eagle Scout myself, and more importantly as a friend, I just want to say congratulations.
You are an outstanding Eagle and an outstanding ambassador for scouting. And I can't say it enough how proud we absolutely are of y'all, how much we miss you here in Texas, wish you were still here.
I just want to say congratulations, Joe, on you being awarded the Outstanding Eagle Scout. You are such an inspiration, not only to the young people that you've worked with, but you've had a ripple effect across the country.
Being able to have that experience as a whole family has been awesome.
I'm just so proud of everything that he's done for scouting and for our family. He, it's been such an important part of our life, the fact that he was involved in scouting and how much it means to him, and it's just had an overall impact on us. And I'm so super proud of him for everything that he's done, and I'm proud that he's my husband.
Our second Outstanding Eagle Scout Award recipient is Eagle Scout Rod Cooper. Rod is one of 5 boys in his family that earned the Eagle rank. Rod's community leadership has included the Navada chapter of the Associated General Contractors, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and being an active board member since 2012 for the Nevada Area Council.
The training and the development that I had as a young boy, going through the various ranks of Eagle Scouts, and living to the oath and to the code, has really shaped how I deal in my day-to-day business. The experiences that I had as a young boy in scouting will be with me for a long time. I think it really helped develop leadership capabilities that I have today. Being an Eagle Scout in my immediate family with myself and my brothers was not really a competition, but it was being supportive of one another. We all probably had different experiences in scouting. They were all great experiences. Scouting's an interesting thing where the encouragement really comes in as an Eagle as you start to get closer to the upper age limit to where you have to achieve your Eagle Award.
I remember Rod as a scout. He was getting into Boy Scouts about the time I was probably becoming a Cub Scout. And so I can remember the excitement that he had as he would prepare for and go to camp.
Rod's a great storyteller, and we would gather at his feet as he was a young 12 and 13-year-old and hear all of the adventures that he had been on. And that was so powerful to me. I couldn't wait until I was going to have the opportunity to do those very same things that Rod loved doing on his scouting trips.
Well, when Rodney became a 12-year-old scout, I was 7 years old. So as a young boy, I remember the excitement that my big brother was a Boy Scout.
Our parents were very good at having all of us boys very actively involved in scouting, and I believe the principles of the Scout Law and Scout Oath have always been principles that Rod strived to live by in the way that he's treated others and in the way that he would want others to treat him.
He's a natural leader, and I believe that scouting gave him the structure to learn how to hone those leadership skills at a very early age.
I think Rod was impacted greatly with Boy Scouts because it made him love America, made him love other people and want to give service to other people to help those in need.
When I meet someone that has earned the award of an Eagle Scout, is we have something in common. But it's interesting how the conversation goes, and we generally talk about some of their experiences as a scout growing up, and it always goes back to what was your Eagle Scout project, and how did that work? A lot of occasions when I meet someone that was not an Eagle Scout, and they ask me about it, and they tell me that they reached whatever rank they achieved through the scouting organization, they always pause and say, I wish I would have gone all the way through and obtained my Eagle Scout. That happens more frequently than not. It's something that I achieved, and I didn't really understand the ultimate value. But as I got older and got into my career, it was amazing how many leaders of different organizations that I work with that are Eagle Scouts.
Sometimes when you're a teenager or applying for colleges and things like that, it's not really something that you stop and think that that's a big accomplishment. But now, from my point of view and where I am in life, looking back, I think it's a great accomplishment.
That was the beginning as young men when we obtained our Eagle Scouts, and Rod set that example by getting his Eagle Scout, and the rest of us followed suit.
He's been a good example to all of us, so we're proud of his success. It's pretty neat that a boy from Shelley, Idaho, a population less than 2,000 can get an award like this.
I'm grateful for Rod and all that he's added to our lives. Our family lost our father 30 years ago, and Rod has been that person that's been the stabilizer, the one that's given us great direction. And he does that through setting the example and being a role model, not one that lectures, one that is a doer. And I'm so blessed to have Rod in my life, and I'm grateful that he's been recognized here today by the Boy Scouts of America for all that he's done for so many of us. Thanks, Rod.
Our final Outstanding Eagle Scout Award recipient is Eagle Scout Rick Kazaza. His engagement in community service is extensive and has included leadership roles with the American Heart Association, the Lambda Chi Alpha Fraternity, and the Nevada Area Council, BSA.
Remembering my dad as a scout leader, there's a lot to go back on there. He did so much within the scouting community here in Reno, Nevada.
As a scout leader, I remember him always being like the guy that everybody came to when something needed to get done.
He had a lot of great influences with scouting in his younger years, especially with his father. They kind of not pushed him, but they kind of coerced him into joining scouting, and he kind of just took off from there, and it's been an exciting experience ever since.
We joined Scouts. He's 2 years younger than I am, so he kind of followed along, but we basically spent our time in Scouts together. I don't particularly recall any competitions that we had, other than both of us trying to get the Eagle, and we ended up both reaching the goal at the same time. And I was just right on the edge of aging out at the time.
The competition was we wanted to get our Eagles before we went to the 1972 Boy Scout National Jamboree in Farragut State Park, Idaho. We both had the same track as kind of through Scouts, and always both of us were always in the leadership of our packs, our troops, our patrols, and what have you. So yeah, Tom was a great mentor to follow.
I remember we had some great times as at the National Jamboree with a lot of our other troop members. It takes a lot of dedication and work to dedicate yourself to this position and follow through for the number of years that he has. And it's a lot of hard work and takes spare time outside of your work to do this. So it's quite an accomplishment, and I think myself and the rest of our family are all quite proud of Rick to get this award like this.
I never look for any recognition. I think it's very important to give back. So the advice I would have to the new Eagle Scouts as they move forward in their lives is to really take the Scout oath and the Scout law to heart. You only have your reputation, and the Scout law and the Scout oath really does lay out how you can create the best reputation for yourself. And I tell this story all the time. It was Assistant Scoutmaster Marv Roberts, and I was doing a merit badge with him. I can't remember which one it was. He asked me a question, and I answered it, and I probably answered it incorrectly, and he gave me the answer, and I said, "Oh, I was going to say that." He said, "No, you weren't." I said, "No, you weren't. If you were going to say that, you would have said that." Remember, if you don't have the answer, it's all right not to have the answer. It's always stuck with me through my entire life that if you don't have the answer, it's all right, and and you can always go and find it. And I run into that every day, saying, you did this in scouting, you did this in this instance, and stick with it. And that's one thing that scouting has always taught me is stay focused, stick with it, and you'll get the job done. My sons did not get Eagle, but watching them in the Scout program and the skills they've obtained and what they learned in scouting in their careers that they've now taken off with.
He's put forth a lot of effort towards things that not a lot of people would consider to be extraordinary, but it's the little things that count.
It's pretty cool to see that you're getting nationally recognized. Even though in our town, everybody seems to know who you are when we're going around, it's really cool to see you finally get that national recognition that you've been working so hard for everything. And I know it's just one of those things that kind of comes on its own volition, but congratulations.
What a great show today. Great to see what all of our outstanding Eagle Scouts have been doing. Our Eagle Scouts that we've talked about today, all 240 of them, have provided over $912,000 worth of community service. And that's amazing. And that's just the Eagle Scouts. Imagine all of our other Scouts and what they contribute in volunteer time for the community. Our frontline heroes, we've talked about them today. It's really important that we show them great appreciation for all that they've done. The food service industry, the law enforcement, the medical professionals, the National Guard. We want to give them a big salute and make sure that they're appreciated for all that they do. Give them an elbow bump next time you see them. The testimony of our Eagle Scouts talk about skills that last a lifetime. And many of our young Eagle Scouts, what great projects those were shared today. Amazing to see what our young people are capable of doing. Our mission is to prepare today's youth to be tomorrow's leaders. What we learn in our scouting program is to help other people. And we all learn these 12 points. Maybe you know them as well, and you can share them as I do as well. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. We salute you in the community.